5 signs you're an overthinker with a rare kind of intelligence. Everyone keeps telling you to stop overthinking. Here's what almost none of them understand. There are 2 kinds of overthinking. One quietly eats you alive. The other is one of the rarest things a mind can do. The mistake was never that you think too much. It's that no one ever told you which kind you were running. Tonight, 5 things mature minds do that everyone mistakes for overthinking. And the one line that separates a rare kind of intelligence from a trap, start with what the research actually found, because it's stranger than the advice. For decades, overthinking was filed under one word, a flaw. Then psychologists looked closer. In 2015, a team led by Alexander Penny found something the self-help crowd missed. People with higher verbal intelligence didn't worry less. They worried more. The sharper the mind for language and meaning, the more it replayed the past and rehearsed the future. Not because something was broken, because a mind that can model time in detail will use that power on everything. So the question was never how to think less. Here's the first thing mature minds do that looks like overthinking. Number 1, they sit with a question instead of rushing to kill it. It looks like hesitation. It's the opposite. If that landed, tap the like. It's how this reaches the next person whose mind never shuts off. Take Desmond, a cabinet maker, 50s, the kind who measures twice and thinks 10 times. His ex-wife once called him always somewhere inside his own head. Last winter, a commission came back wrong. A joint that should have held, didn't. Most people would blame the wood and move on. Desmond sat with one question for 3 evenings, not chewing himself up, asking, what did the wood know that he didn't? That's the part people miss about him. He wasn't stuck on the joint, he was listening to it. The shop stayed quiet for 3 nights, and on the 4th, the fix was obvious. The kind of obvious that only shows up after you've earned it. Some details have been changed for privacy. Desmond is drawn from patterns I've seen across many people I've known. If you're still here, you already know which one you are. You're the kind of mind that turns the question over instead of letting it chase you. That's exactly the kind of mature mind I make these for. Subscribe, the next one finds you next week. Now, here's where the 2 roads split. Number 2, they run it forward. A mind like Desmond simulates, if this, then that. Foresight, push to its edge. Number 3, they feel the cost, but don't call it danger. Do this with me. Notice where the unfinished thought is sitting in your body right now. The jaw, the chest, the shoulders that won't drop. That tension isn't only in your head. In 2006, Broschott and his colleagues showed that worry and rumination keep the body's stress response switched on long before the event and long after it's over. The loop you can't hear is one your body has been carrying all day. Let that land for a second. The cost is real, but real doesn't mean broken. And here's what they got wrong about you. The study everyone quotes surveyed members of a high IQ society and found more anxiety, more mood struggles, and stopped there. But that was a self-selected group. When you step outside it and look at the wider population, that tidy link between a sharp mind and a suffering one gets a lot shakier. A mind that won't go quiet is not a broken one. They measured you with the wrong sample and called it your fate. Now the other road. Conrad drafts blueprints 2 towns over. Same restless mind, same nights awake. But Conrad doesn't turn a question over, he gets pinned under it. 1 sentence from his manager, 3 days ago, still circles, word for word. He isn't thinking the problem through. He's rehearsing the wound. Identical horsepower to Desmond, pointed in a direction that takes and never gives anything back. So what actually separates them? Not how much they think. Researchers who split this hair found 2 flavors of a restless mind. One is reflective, turning a thing over to understand it. The other is brooding, circling a thing to suffer it. A long twin study, published in 2020, found that only the reflective kind tracks with higher intelligence. The brooding kind tracks with getting stuck. Same horsepower. 2 different roads. And look, nobody's purely one. I've rewritten this very sentence in my head about 40 times, and I still can't tell you if that's reflection or just me. The mind doesn't come with a clean label, which is exactly the problem. Which brings us to the last 2, the moves that quietly turn one road into the other. Number 4, they name it. Not vaguely, precisely. There's a world of difference between I feel off and I'm uneasy about the Thursday call. In 2007, a UCLA team led by Matthew Lieberman scanned what happens when you put a feeling into words. The brain's alarm center went quieter. The deliberate part came online. Naming the loop is how you stop being inside it and start standing beside it. That single move is the line between Desmond and Conrad. And number 5, they bring it back. On purpose. Again and again. The wandering isn't the failure. The return is the skill. And quickly, nothing here is a diagnosis. If the loop genuinely steals your sleep or your days, a good therapist is worth more than any video. More than a century ago, the psychologist William James wrote one line that holds all of this together. He wrote, "The faculty of voluntarily bringing back a wandering attention, over and over again, is the very root of judgment, character, and will." Sit with that line for a second. The mind that wanders isn't weak. The one that learns to bring itself back, that's where judgment lives. So here's what I want you to leave with tonight. There was never anything wrong with how much you think. There were only two directions, and one of them is rare. You're not the overthinker they warned you about. You're the kind of mind that turns the dark over until it gives up its shape. In the comments, tell me one number. 1 if you're the kind who sits with the question. 2 if you're the kind who still gets chased by it. And 1 line on what you're learning to bring your attention back to. I read every single one. And if any part of this felt like it was written about you, it was. Subscribe, and the next one's already waiting. On the screen now. 2 more. One on the childhood patterns behind a mind built like this, and the one a lot of you found first. Pick whichever speaks to you.